Now to a CBS Atlanta exclusive investigation. An Atlanta celebrity whose business targets wannabe hip-hop artists, actors, and musicians is accused by some of these people of taking their money for his own personal gain. Tariq Alexander promises hometown talent their chance to rub elbows with the entertainment industry's elite. The catch? They got to pay for it. Tonight, CBS Atlanta's Wendy Saltzman's digging a little deeper into this alleged get-rich-quick scheme.
You know, I was interested in becoming a member of TSW too. And like any reasonable person, I started out my research with facts like where they came from and how long they've been around. While doing some digging, I came across this news report by Wendy Saltzman. So I did my own investigation. As we know, the news can sometimes come prefabricated, especially when the words accused and alleged are involved. This report is sort of a summary of what I found, and I hope that it'll help you see that sometimes what's reported in the news may not be completely true or complete. Let's take a look.
Tariq Alexander, the man behind TSW, from his mansion in Fairburn to helicopters and airplanes advertising his success. Hundreds of people have signed up and paid their money for a chance to be cast in movies and reality shows. But some say those were empty promises just to make money. As CBS Atlanta first reported, Tariq Alexander has turned his brush with fame from acting in music videos and modeling in the 80s into a profitable business that preys on other people's dreams of becoming a star.
I chose 50 first-time actors and put them with stars.
All right, let's stop right there. She mentioned the mansions, airplanes, and helicopters that highlight his success. Do you think a successful career wouldn't yield some sort of wealth? Maybe that's where he drew resources to produce those movies. And she also said people paid for the chance to be cast in these movies. He just said he took 50 new talents, paired them with stars, and produced movies and soundtracks. That's right, I said movies again. He produced The Stick-Up Kids and The System Within. And according to my research, there are more coming. Let's keep digging.
But there's a price. These actors and musicians have to pay up to $499 up front and a $100 monthly membership fee for the chance to be in Alexander's movies, market their talents, and hobnob with the industry's elite.
Okay, here's a serious question. When's the last time you didn't have to give something to get something? Most people that are looking to promote themselves or their product have to pay just to show they exist, with no guarantees. They fail to mention the kind of people you're paying to do business with, too. Like Tariq said, A-list members only, meaning only the elite are the A-listers and do business accordingly. Don't forget about the virtual mall, too. I watched it come to life, and it looks amazing so far. But you can look at those for yourself. Let's move along for now.
Did you see any success stories in their membership?
No.
Yolanda Niels was in charge of sales.
After I left, I started calling up members and researching if anything or anybody was successful, and the answer so far has been no.
Alright, let's pause it right there. I looked up Miss Niels and discovered some surprising trivia. She hails from a little town called Kalamazoo, Michigan. Know who else is from Kalamazoo? Wendy Saltzman. They practically grew up together in that little town. Oh, and about her research and the success stories, I guess appearing in a movie or recording a soundtrack doesn't count. She seems to have overlooked the 100+ talents it took to make the first two movies I mentioned. First-time actors like Zachary Caesar, whom we'll see in the next clip, giving a positive testimony of his success with TSW. Let's take a look.
Network. And TSW has gave me the power to network. It was the saying, there's a quote saying, a man walks up to a fisherman. The man asks the fisherman for a piece of fish. The fisherman gives the man a piece of fish. The man only eats for one day. But if the fisherman teaches the man how to fish, the man can eat for a lifetime. To me, that's what networking is. And I can give you a great example of how TSW led me to it. I have a poetry book coming out called Revolutionary Entertainment. Say, for instance, I walks up to someone and be like, contact me, Zachary Caesar, 318-503-0853. Now, whether you know it or not, I just put my book on your camera. And which probably need to get edited out because people don't want to see the great things that we do. They only want to hear about today.
Well, we're not going to talk anymore on TV. I can promise you that.
Notice what she said there and realize how none of it made it into the official report. Oh, and there's plenty of additional tape. But for the sake of time, I would just like to nod at another small clip of the room which is full of active TSW members who came to give their support. You'd think that if this was an unbiased report that would feature at least some of Mr. Caesar's interview, or a mentioning of the group of TSW members that flew out at the time of taping. Cutting out Mr. Caesar was a big enough mistake, but leaving out all the members in addition to that suggests something much more heinous. Let's move on.
Niels and webmaster Abel Ramos says they were both advised to focus on one thing and one thing only.
Focus on making people sign up. That's all we care about.
I'd also like you to make a mental note that neither Miss Niels or Mr. Ramos were around more than maybe a month. And then there was Abel Ramos. Now here's a prime example of what really was happening. This guy put the nail in the coffin for me, to say the least. Mr. Ramos already has a checkered history by my research, but to add insult to injury, he serves as a motive in a way. If you go to Wendy Saltzman's website and scroll to the bottom, you'll notice a link to the developers page. Whose developer page? Abel Ramos. Just look around and you'll see his name mentioned here and there. At the very bottom is an About Us paragraph, naming him the owner of the business that built Miss Saltzman's website. If I'm not mistaken, that's a conflict of interest. But wait, it gets even better. I have here from one of my sources an email sent between the two of them during the time of the interview. It details how her site should be built and what it should say. They were in it together after all, and her site serves as a form of payment, you could say. It helps explain why the interview became so one-sided, and explains to what lengths a few distraught employees are willing to go to get even. I was also able to surface an email sent from Ms. Saltzman to a member close to Tariq in which she says, "As I told him, I want to make certain that he at the very least feels I was fair, even though he doesn't like the topic. And offering on good faith that she would somehow make the final report balance in some way. From what I've seen, however, there is little to no symmetry to it when it was all said and done, showing that she had other motivations altogether." Obviously, they saw fit to allow only a few comments from Tariq himself, in which he feverishly defends his organization from these allegations, such as in the next clip. Let's see it.
Like the country club of the entertainment industry. If you don't like it, don't be a part of it.
Alexander defends his company and says there were no handcuffs forcing anyone to sign up.
If you're really serious about your career, yes, I say get in at $4.99 and say, I want that opportunity.
Just like Tariq said, if you're serious about being in the business, you'll make that move. No one is forcing you to do anything. But to me, it seems like this report is trying to force you to ignore the real questions and real answers. Tariq allowed these people into his home and answered the questions to the best of his ability. Do you think that if he or TSW were doing anything wrong, they would allow the press in? Where I'm from, that shows character and integrity, something this news report sufficiently lacks. As you can see, when you sort through the facts, the result is obvious. TSW has the evidence to back up what it says. When Wendy Saltzman took on this report, she was counting on the hype to sell her story, despite the fact there are plenty of obvious holes in it. The conspiracy between Wendy, Yolanda Niels, and Abel Ramos only serves to prove that people choose to manipulate the truth to satisfy their own ends. I got plenty of additional material, but I think I'll hold on to it just in case. As far as joining TSW, I made up my mind. I'm signing up to become a member.